Might I just say this is the most wholesome thing I've ever seen. Oh boy. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and it is time for you guys to see what I put together. You saw the summon session, right? You saw it, right? You're like, ah, God, what he's gonna make with that thing. So, of course, I wanted to show you guys my first rank match. Now, what I was gonna do, I was gonna just play rank. It's actually part of your dailies anyway. You're supposed to play ranked, and you actually don't get any resources, which is like, oh God, I really got to start playing ranked. You don't get any resources towards your duel pass unless you're actually playing ranked. Now, I don't think it says it here. Usually it would tell you, it would detail it here. So if you guys are having any issues and like, why isn't my duel thing? Because I was doing a bunch of solo stuff and this thing was not leveling up. So I actually realized, bang, you have to play ranked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay it so you guys can see it, because it was actually pretty funny. It was pretty epic. I was nervous. I was on Discord, which you, obviously it's a replay, you won't hear the voices, but I was on Discord and I was just like, you know, Tachi wanted to see, you know, how my deck works on ranked. So I'm always scared, and I think a lot of people, if you guys are scared to play ranked because you're like, oh, I don't have the cards, I saw this is the meta deck, I just watched this other YouTube video that's way better than Cash, and I want to do the best I can do. Guys, please, honestly, and I did it for my friend, I swear to God, I can make a deck out of anything. I can make a decent deck out of anything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Runeterra's a little bit harder, but Yu-Gi-Oh! What? I can make a deck in like 2 seconds. But so I did the best I could. As you guys saw, you saw all the cards I have. I have not gotten any additional cards outside of doing solo, which none of those cards help me with linking or anything like that. So I'm gonna be explaining as best I can what I put together and in mid-match, because it's going to be a replay. So let's get into the match. You guys ready? Of course I'm not gonna show you if I won or not, because that would be terrible. Here it is. So I'm gonna be like pausing and explaining things as it's going, what he's doing and what I'm doing. So hold on. Okay, so it's gonna go back fast pretty much, but I'll pause in certain areas. So first thing you see right off the bat, he's using one. First of all, Pot of Desires, busted boy. All right, but he's using a Sky Striker deck. Now, from what I did not actually know how this deck worked, which was actually kind of crazy, because I'm like sitting here trying to learn as he's playing his cards, and that's a lot. That is what you guys are doing at the same time as me. Not everyone is playing Yu-Gi up to date, so everyone is, if you go online, it's actually intimidating in my personal opinion. You gotta read all these cards while the guy's flowing off effects and all this other nonsense. So I'm gonna slow things down a little bit so you guys can get a grasp of what I did, where I messed up, and possibly potentially where he messed up as well. Well, I mean, he made the first mistake of fighting your boy, but let's not get into that. So this card, you can special summon this card from the hand. If you have where is it? If a striker ace is normal summoned, you can special summon this card. I think he just normal summoned that, if I'm not mistaken. And then all this other stuff. Pretty much what you want to remember about this deck is it has to do a lot with cards, spell cards being in the graveyard. So he's going to be doing that. I'm just gonna paraphrase it. I'm not gonna read every card, but pretty much that's what he's going to be doing. Throwing a bunch of cards in the graveyard. This is a lot of graveyard effects. There's a lot of decks that resolve around that. Actually makes me really want to make a remove from play deck, just to mess around with people that try to put everything in the graveyard in 2 seconds. This card is going to banish cards from the top of his deck, and then he gets to draw cards, which is fine, because he doesn't, if you make a deck good enough, you don't need 10 cards in it to make it work. You know, if you remove 10 cards out of my deck, I'll be fine too. So this is a really good card, Pot of Desires. So he's going to do that instantaneously. He's going to do that. This is quick. So obviously XZ's 1. Sorry, that's a Link Summon 1. Link Summon 1, so all he needs is a 1, and it's going to tell you here, if you guys are confused on how links work, 1, and all he needed was a wind, specifically a wind 1, which is the one that he had. He had a wind, sorry. Wait. You dirty whore. 1, oh, non-wind, okay. They say Yu-Gi-Oh! Players don't read. Okay, so it has to specifically not be a wind in order for the wind version to come out. And this one doesn't really do anything. It's just here to summon something, so you can just put something on the field because he goes first. My deck is really good going second, so I like to go second if I ever have a choice. So this card, and here it is. Guys, if you don't have this card in your deck, I honestly just might make a 3 of it myself. I don't care what rarity it is, it's busted. He's gonna draw a card every time I special summon, which in order to do anything, if a Link's duck, you need a couple. So as soon as he saw that, he's like, oh baby, this guy's gonna make me draw a bunch of cards. But unfortunately, I can't sit there and not special summon, so I gotta do what I gotta do. Now he does negate this one with this broken card, which by the way, you guys can get with 750 right now in the structured, not the structured deck, those special packs. 750, you get this plus a pack opening, so feel free, you know. But it's really strong, as you can see. When an effect activates, that adds a card to the hand, special summons a monster from the deck, or send a card from the deck to the graveyard. All great effects. I think this card specifically, normal summon a card from the deck. Yeah, I get to add a card from my deck to my hand, which covers that, so he can negate it. So luckily, I don't really give a flying fuck. I was just trying to get extra cards in my hand anyway. I can already do what I needed to do. So him negating this just kind of slowed me down slightly. But luckily, these two cards, Core Radiator and Code Exporter, these cards allow me to use them as link materials in my hand. So and so does the Code Generator. These three cards are absolutely busted for any link deck. As long as you put one card on the field, depending on how many you have, you can just go ham. So that's what I decided to do. I do a 3-link summon here, put one out there. I wanted to put one more in my hand. I was going to look for the Code Generator to put another one in my hand. So boom, we just start off with a 3. I don't really care what 3 it is. Of course, he's going to do that. He's loving it. So the Code Radiator also its other effects are kind of irrelevant, but he can reduce the attack to 0, negate this effect, and I get one card back into my hand, which is fine. This card gets special. Oh my god, it's so quick, baby. This card, it allows me special summon it to where one of my zones are pointing. So if I was this one, just for reference, his thing points outwards. I think back here, it would point here. And I just pretty much, it's a free summon, so I can put another card in the field and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Access Kotoka desu, and this card is busted. First thing that it does is going to take a look at what's in my graveyard and take one of my link summon 3, and it's going to times it by 1,000, so that's going to give it instantly 3,000 attack. And yeah. Yeah, boom. And then it allows me after that to banish a link monster in my field, from my field or graveyard, and I can destroy a card that they control. Now you can't respond, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's effects activation. So once I'm initiate that, they can't do anything. It's really good for removing traps. Be careful, you can actually yeah, you'll see in a second. So he's gonna do this, and again, he's just cycling. He's doing a lot of cycly-dicely things. He's going to be, I'm again not too familiar with this, but as you can see, he did that, got another card out there, did this. So this is what happens. So he's shuffling monsters. Again, monsters don't matter in his graveyard, only the spells kind of do, and putting those cards so he can use them again is kind of fantastic. So boom, he actually, what's cool about that though, if you really paid attention, he did put some of his link monsters back into his extra deck, so that's great. I actually really need that type of card, because that banishing them is cool and all, but sometimes I do want them back so I can summon them again. So I actually would be interested in putting that type of card in my deck as well. So now he is, which is kind of scary, if you have no monsters in the extra zone, right? No, in the main monster zone. So his whole thing is about making sure he has nothing here, and he only is utilizing this one spot, which is a weakness of the deck, but it's pretty good on how it actually works, because he's going to mostly just have one monster kind of navigating stuff, a bunch of spell cards navigating stuff, and then he's going to put something here for the time being, and then it's going to go away. So what he did here, instead of banishing this card, since he has enough spells, like I said, just putting spells in the graveyard, he actually just takes my card, and it can't attack. So I got this card confused, and he just uses it as a blocker, and he just doesn't want to take too much damage. This card is getting him more spells back from the graveyard. After he utilizes the effect, he gets it back. So it's just a bunch of cycling. It's beautiful. It's a really defensive deck. I think it's really good. So I wasn't paying attention, so I was like, oh yeah, let me just use this card. I thought it was targeting something else, but unfortunately I banished, no, not sent to the grave. I actually banished my Access Code Talker here to destroy that one face down card that I didn't know. I know what this card was because I saw him put it. It's a magic card, but I got scared of this card. I was like, oh, let me banish it real quick before attacking. Doom. Because I obviously have this in my hand and I have this in my hand, so I could have made another link monster to utilize the effect very easily, but I digress. So now what we're in, it's called Panic Mode. Backup Secretary can be special summoned once you have a thing on the field. So I make another 3. And it's the transcoder, but then I forgot I didn't have another monster that I can put to connect it with. So that it's actually co-link, so I needed another link monster. That's what co-link means. But then I'm like, wow, this just matches it. So I pretty much know that he has control. He has absolute control of the match now, and I'm recovery. I have another field cards that I already have spelled out here. So he's now going to start doing whatever he wants, and I can't really stop it. None of the cards in my hand or on the field can stop it. He does this lowers it. He can't do anything here with that, so he's going to link summon one more time. He's going to bring out this. Has an animation. I thought at this point it must be a good card. Must be good as an animation. If this card is special summon, you can target one spell striker in any graveyard. The thing gains 100 attack for each spell in the graveyard, which I think it can get dramatically stronger, but still not better than 23 at the moment. But obviously there's going to be some hibba jabba dibba dooba dibba scooby dooby doo thing that he's going to do. So what I'm hoping here, and if you don't know, he uses this. I don't know why. That was very confusing. I thought he could have just waited until my turn to play that. But what I'm assuming he's doing, so he throws that away, and he's boosting this up, making it stronger by throwing stuff in the graveyard. And then boom. That's actually the thing I wanted to see. I forgot what that card was. It's where is it? It throws all the cards back to where they came from, pretty much. If you control no monsters in the main card monster zone, that's why he threw my thing back, right? Each player sends the top 2 cards from their deck to their graveyard, or as many as possible, less than 2. Then if you send at least 1 card to the graveyard and have 3, your opponent shuffles all his opponents. You can shuffle all your opponent's monsters from the extra deck into the deck. So mine got thrown back, his didn't. So he also milled me a couple cards as well, which is kind of annoying. These cards are actually really strong for me. He is now in a very strong position because now he has a card out. I don't have even a monster to speak of. This card came back. Don't even know why. He's going to push a decent amount of damage. Now, at this point, mistake number 2. So not only did I screw up actual playing the game, I screwed up my deck making. Now, this card is actually not that bad. Cyber's Integrator. Not that bad, right? But it's a Synchro, and I only have one Synchron tuner, whatever, to actually bring it out. Now, the problem is that the synergy of the Cynet Storm is actually supposed to really help me out, right? So all linked monsters get a bunch of attack and defense, which would have been nice, fantastic. But here was where I could have made a dramatic comeback. Once per chain, sorry. If you take 2,000 or more damage or effect damage, you can shuffle the face down cards in your extra deck, which is pretty much you take the extra deck, shuffle it out of order or whatever. In real life, it would make sense, but here it's just going to choose it. And if it at random, you pick one card at random. If it is a Cyberse Link monster, it will get special summon. Otherwise, it just goes back to the main deck. So I literally have 2 of those. Out of the 13 cards, I have 2 of these things here. Everything else is a Cyberse Link monster. And I low rolled, and I got bopped. I got... Literally any other card here would have been fine because remember, he tacked with the 2100, right? So, and if the 1500, any of these monsters have more than that or have an effect that would have kept them safe. Or maybe he wouldn't, but like literally just got shafted. Just literally got shafted by that, which is insane. So now you'll actually pay attention. I don't know if he did this intentionally. He's going to be very cautious about making sure that he attacks with less than 2,000. He knows that if he does anything big damage, I'm going to have the chance to just pull something out the crack of my ass. And I think that he's specifically trying to avoid that as best as he can. And again, just look at it. Just keep... He's weakening this, but he's also getting really, really strong magic cards. He's also switching the positions of them. And yeah, so I draw this. Now, I think this is number 3, misplay. Now, this card, I looked at how much damage he has on the field, right? So this is 34. So he'd have to pull out a monster that had 1,000. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this was a correct play. But if I were to predict or to say, like, he has a bunch of magic cards, right? He has a bunch of, probably these are magic cards as well. If I just don't give him anything, right? I have to roll the dice and say he can't come up with 1,000 damage, right? That would be my you can't come up with another 1,000 damage. This card is very good if you literally like keep it in the hand and then play something else the next turn. So if I draw a monster the next turn, then I should have kept this and I could have made a decent comeback. But I decided to play it because I was afraid that he could just kind of put out something, and he honestly could, but because he starts activating stuff, and again, I barely know what he's doing here. If you guys know, like this thing, activate this, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but this card is a piece of shit. Once he actually plays it, and they pretty much put it down once he plays it. So he only leaves with 1,000 on the board. Actually, let me see what this does. It's a quick magic card. But you see all that stuff that he's doing. I'm basically, this is me reading the deck. He has a lot of defensive stuff, a lot of ways to take my monsters away from me and all this other nonsense, but he's not pushing damage. So his deck looks like it's a very defensive deck that's just gonna sit there and just be annoying as hell, and then like just win by me running out of resources, which technically is happening. So I'm definitely losing. I'm not definitely losing here. Activate this card. This card cannot the quick attack directly. It can make a second attack, so it can take out 2 monsters. If the equipped monster is destroyed by attack while you have 3 or more, you can draw a card. So that's another way of drawing more cards. He has a lot of cycling. 4 cards in his hand to my 1. This guy is like doing the Lord's work right now. So I get to go. Did I draw a monster I could play? No. So technically, it was a perfectly fine play in hindsight. But I also could have still held it in my hand, and I could have played it, and then these two together would have been able to link some because this is one of the code words. So technically, it's a 50-50. I didn't know how much damage he was going to push, and then he uses another spell card, which is this one. Yeah, he just takes my monster. I think that one he what is it? Take him. If not, you can't battle there. It can't be destroyed by this battle. So he's just taking my stuff, which he's only going to have here for, like, you know, they're only there for a short time, not a good time, not a short time. Does that, takes my monster away. Think it's 2? No. Okay. So when that switches the guy that's out there, does another card. Don't know what this thing does. Face up, the target can be targeted. Card. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Cool. He's just doing a bunch of stuff, and then boom. And I'm looking like, damn, that's a lot of damage. 15, 2. Hey, you know what this is getting boosted up by? My field card. If you want to talk about mistakes. Man, I'm boosting up this card because it's linked to this card, so it's getting 500. Yeah. So we are down. I think this card can't attack, right? I don't know. He's activating 16,000 things. I think this card can't attack. All I know is that these are all spells, right? So I'm kind of happy with knowing that these are all spells. Next up, we get the Side Net Codex. So now this card is cool, though I need to still summon something. I have to pretty much summon something in order for it to be able to use its effect. So it's kind of like it's nice, but it's not as great. I'm on the fence right now, but I'm gonna play it. And my turn. So I noticed that this card can't attack. It's just like, it's just there. I guess it can't attack. Now at this point, Tachi was like, you might as well just surrender. I was like, no, my turns are quick. I don't surrender because my turns are quick. Everything I'm doing, I'm just going to play one card and just going to drop it. There's no reason for me to do anything. My prediction here was, again, that he's not going to be able to actually kill me because he has no damage. So I started to say in the match, I'm predicting that he can't actually do any more damage than 2,900 with the way his deck is flowing. Like I said, it's a very defensive deck, activating 16,000 things per turn. And he did that, but that was the big mistake. If you control no monsters, each player sends the top. Yeah, here it is. Each player sends the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard, or as many as possible if it's less than 2. Then send at least 1 card to the graveyard. If you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can shuffle all your opponents. And this is the card that we've seen before. So he milled me the other time, but the problem at this time is that when he milled me, these 2 cards went into the grave. And funny enough, these cards, when in the graveyard, actually have a bonus effect. If you control no extra monsters, which I don't, you can banish this card to target one of your banished Code Talkers and then special summon them. Now you guys know I have 2 of them because I put my Access Code Talker in there like a dum-dum, and I also put the Power Code Talker in there as well. Now I have 2 of them, so I try to use one, banish it, try to get my Access Code Talker back, and boom, shakalaka. So then he has a thing, and this card, oh my god, I was so pissed when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, I lost. So this one, he can negate the effect of a face-up monster, or he can take it to the end of the turn, right? Negate if you have 3 that take control of it. Now, why did he kill me here? Actually, it's kind of weird. Wait, yeah, why didn't he kill me here? Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember now. So I used my other one since I lucked out and 2 of them got started. Since I have 2, now I put him out there and he's gonna block. So it negates this attack because he started off with the 2,000, and then he can only do the 400 or 500 difference. So that was very lucky that the 2 cards milled from there were the 2 cards that I got. Now also remember that he only gets to keep this card for the turn. So now he's going to end his turn. He's going to put this card back, which we already know it's a quick play magic card, so he's going to be able to use it next turn. But unfortunately, as soon as the turn starts, which I'm actually curious, this is a quick play spell. I feel like he should have been able to use it immediately upon my draw. But he did not do that. So as soon as the turn triggers, first thing I'm doing is activating this. Remember, he cannot respond in any way to it, and I already know what card it is. Take that out. Then I'm going to start my BS. I have 2 cards linked, both of them. That's going to give me my a link 2, which I think is just the Code Talker by itself. Boom, put that out. 13 hundo off to the side. Codex is going to give me a element or something like that. I forgot how this stupid thing works. Wait, what? Doesn't it? I can target 1 monster, add 1 Cyverse monster of the same element. So yeah, I would get a dark type or whatever like that. Now he has a thing in his hand because he's that guy. I don't even know what that card does. Yeah, so it's very similar to the other one that he played. It pretty much, if I add a card from the graveyard to the hand, special summon a monster from the graveyard, or banish a card from the graveyard, which, wait, couldn't he have negated one of the other ones? Or maybe he just drew that or something. Maybe he didn't know what I was doing. That's very weird. Now that I think about it, he could have negated one of my Recode Talkers, or maybe it has to be activated from the graveyard. So, boom. He negates one, but he can't negate them all. I'm just going to get this card, and I'm going to play it from my hand. Link Shogun. Gonna do another one. That's gonna be on my 3 Transcode Talker. So gonna add even more attack. He's gonna do that. That's just gonna negate its this effect because I'm just trying to get it. But it doesn't really do too much. These are all spells that he can't use because they're just normal spells. So we're gonna attack there, and then last but not least, yeah, he's. So I actually think that was a misplay, if I remember correctly. So I technically possibly could have just used this guy and removed it, but I'd have to go back. Maybe I mistake something, and I was like, damn, I think that. So he actually gets to stall out 1 additional turn. So it's now his turn. He did lose that other spell card. I did destroy it. So now he has the chance to maybe potentially make a comeback here. Does that? He's gonna link summon, lower my thing's attack, destroy that, put this in there, put that there, and. What? And then he just surrendered. He just the last turn he just started BSing. So boom. We were able to win that duel. Hopefully you guys understood some of the stuff that I was saying there. And yes, I guess that spoils the second duel. Second duel wasn't anything special, I promise you. It was pretty much it's only this one. So that was one was a 13 turn. This one's 5 turns. I could talk through it. Really, really cool. I like how you just have to bounce that out. I made a couple mistakes there, but luckily I was able to recover because based on how defensive that guy's deck was, because he literally just his deck is like countering stuff, but then he did push too much damage. There were a couple turns where he pushed like 4K damage when he took some of my monsters and then was able to attack with it, and there's other times where he took my monsters and he wasn't able to attack with it. So I'm just a little confused on specifically how his deck worked. I think he might have misplayed a couple times too, but it's honest, we're just starting off ranked. We're not winning all these matches. Now really quick, just to have a heads up here, you guys already know how these code things work now. I put this face down just because I felt like it. Now this deck is a Gem Knight fusion deck. Now Gem Knights are usually just all about just kind of like raw power. I don't really know if there's a Gem Knight that specifically has like a very gross effect that I might not be aware of. And that's a lot of damage he just pushed because this card has no defense. So he pretty much just pushed, what is that, 49 damage, 4950, sorry. 4950 damage straight up on the turn 1. So now I'm going to get in my Grizzle. I'm going to get in my Duffel Buffle real quick. As you guys know, Access Code Talker 9 times out of 10 in my deck is coming out my attacking turn. If I go first, obviously not. I'm not going to summon it. But it's pretty much usually going to come out on my first turn. And all my little guys that were out, they're gonna come back. Stack Reviver. Pretty cool about Stack Reviver. I do think I'm gonna take it out though. Is when you normal summon it, right? Then you you normal summon it, then you link it for the link with these other guys in the hand, and you get to special summon one of the monsters that were used. So that's an easy 4 or 5 depending on what monster gets put into the thing. Obviously there's better cards I could be using for this, but again, I'm using what I have. So you guys already know, big boy is always going to 5300 unless I summon him later and there's a bigger fish to fry in there. So I just kill one of them. I don't think there's a difference between killing one or the other. He only has one other card in his hand. So I assume that this deck, like I said, I don't think it has destruction. So I'm thinking, what can he possibly summon in which he could beat 5300? Or is he going to summon a card that kills it? I think there is a fusion that kills it. And he does have, I was like, oh damn, look at that, it's hollow and cool. Yeah, not enough. He has the opposite. He has 3500. He needs 53. So this time I'm not going to make too much of the mistake. Just going to play it out simple here. Summon the thing. I'm actually going to be smart here. Take this 1-star, turn it into a effect monster by link summoning it into Linkuriboh. Linkuriboh in the graveyard is actually fantastic as well. Usually want to get him in there. Just going to make my 3. And then since Linkuriboh is now in the grave, I wanted to utilize him first and then take him out of the grave to remove the card. A little like, what is it, like a flowchart piloting thing that I am trying to get used to a little bit better. So boom, there it is. I definitely want to get maybe a flow that puts him in the graveyard quicker because he's a really good card. And those were my 2 rank matches. So I gotta do one more. I'm not gonna do it in this video, but don't worry, it doesn't matter whether win or lose. I'm just doing it for the dailies. I don't really want to like get high and ranked, I guess, if that's a thing. I just really, it's important for, I guess, like YouTube and clicks and stuff like that. But I just enjoy making decks. That's actually one of my favorite things. So what I actually am offering to you guys is that we might eventually go to a point. Maybe not specifically on this channel, but like maybe I'll do deck doctors. You guys will give me a deck, or you give me your cards or something like that, or maybe we go on Discord or something like that and we do that. And I also am trying to find a way to look at other people's replays. I know that you could make them public, but I need to find a way that we could do that. And then maybe I could do like some type of, maybe not coaching, I don't want to say coaching, that sounds weird, but just watching other people's replays that aren't mine. Like I want to break them down because a lot of people need the help. A lot of people are been playing Yu-Gi for 8,000 years and know every single thing, and small little adjustments can help you. And obviously it's easier to see mistakes when you rewatch video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. That's a little bit of a long one, but most of these duels on the rank ladder are pretty long. When it's in a replay format without pausing, it's actually really quickly. So I could actually do quicker ones the more familiar I am. The Sky Striker, I'm re-watching that because I'm trying to remember if I was doing the right plays in the right places. So anywho, hope you guys enjoyed. YFOs in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this game and the rank mode and all that good stuff, or any problems or issues you guys are having with the games, let me know. But outside of that, like, comment, subscribe, and just remember that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.